Hello. Hi, everyone. I cannot hear anything.
Are you not able to hear anything?
Okay, I can hear you now. Hi, Sangeeta. Hi, Gargi.
I think everything is fine.
I think it's fine, except for it's lagging a bit on my side, but it might be my connection. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you
Give
well.
me a second. Możesz tak 30 będziesz będzie. Zaczyna się 30. Chcesz zobaczyć jeszcze mam tutaj. Okay, so but can you hear me well?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Okay, so what we can do, we can stay connected. And Mr. No, because at times I cannot hear you. I mean, I can see that you say something, but I cannot hear you. I don't know.
No. Actually, the problem is from my side.
Okay. So that's fine. Sorry to say that. Is the perspective okay with the flags? Does it look okay or? I can't hear you now.
Perfect.
Okay, so Mr. Ambassador, he just entered and asked me when do we start. So we will start 11:30, and I think he will have to leave around 12:10 because he's got another conference. So we will, yeah. But his speech is at 11:45, right?
Let me check. No, not.
I cannot hear you.
Can we talk over a phone regarding this?
Yeah. Let's do that. I will just mute myself. Let's stay connected here.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible. Just
Let me try my Bluetooth also. Hello, can you hear me?
yes, sir, we can hear you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Dr. Kakurkar.
Good morning, Mr. Shroff.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, and wish you a happy Diwali and happy New Year.
Thank you.
You've got a nice background, sir.
Well, you get all kind of suggestions and you get tempted.
So have you started traveling on work, or are you still?
Well, not very much. Very rare cases I do, but otherwise. But as far as traveling outside the Bombay is concerned, I don't do that.
Okay.
Within Mumbai city, in sort of very rare cases, I do venture out. Otherwise, all work from home.
Good morning, Ambassador Burakowski.
Ambassador is not here yet. Hi, good morning. Mihaina Seliga, Embassy of Poland. So we will be
welcome.
meeting with him in 10 minutes. So
No
I see.
worries.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Hi, good morning, Payal. How are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good morning, Mr. Palaniappan. I think you may be on mute, sir.
Yeah, good morning, Nishit. Good morning, Payal. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Palaniappan.
Good morning also to Gargi, to Lokesh,
Yeah,
to Poonam and Priyanka as well.
Good morning, Mr. Shroff. Good morning, Mr. Palaniappan.
good morning, good morning.
Hi, Payal. Hi, Kakotkar sir. Good morning.
Morning.
Good
Hi,
morning,
good
Dr.
morning.
Kakodkar. Good morning, and very
morning.
nice
How are you?
back. I'm fine, sir. I'm fine.
Yeah, that's right. I think maybe it was last year's function that we met. Is that so?
Yes, after that, I think we didn't talk at all, Doctor.
Yeah,
Yes, yeah.
that's right.
Morning, Rachna.
Good morning, Mr. Shroff. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Rachna.
Good morning.
Rachna, we don't have Swapan this year. I believe he's off to the US.
Sorry, Mr. Shroff, I didn't get you.
I said Swapan from the office of the PSA. I believe he's gone off to do a course. He wouldn't be here today.
Yeah, I'm not aware. I'm not aware. Sorry.
Good morning, Prashant. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Belated
Same,
Happy Diwali and Happy New Year.
same to you. Same to you. Hey, Palani
Thank
sir.
you.
Morning.
Good morning, Prashant ji, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good to see you.
Hello, Manish.
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay.
Hi, a very good morning to everyone, and welcome to the International Conference and Exhibition on Waste to Worth that CII is organizing in association with the Office of Principal Scientific Advisor, Government of India, and with support from the Ministry of Urban Development and Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. Poland is the guest country for this edition of the conference. Theme for the conference is moving towards a circular economy through innovations, 3R approach. During the course of the conference, we will have 6 sessions with focus on decentralized and integrated waste management, plastic waste recycling, e-waste recycling, EPR and innovative solutions by startups. We will also honor industries, startups, the municipal corporations with the CII 3R awards who are engaged in the waste minimization and recycling and generating minimum zero waste products. The 2 days conference will experience participation of over 50 experts from waste management sector, over 50 exhibitors and 1,000 delegates. CII, in its endeavor to promote the importance of waste management across the country, has been working towards facilitating the policy and best practices of waste through its task force on the waste to worth. Since 2016, CI's annual convention on waste to worth has also been playing a very constructive role in bringing together government, industry, technology providers, academic institutes, startups on a single platform to deliberate on the best waste management practices, innovative technological solutions towards keeping India clean in a sustainable manner and encouraging the adoption of 3R practices. Without taking much time, may I now request Mr. Palaniappan, Chairman, CI Task Force on Waste to Worth, to deliver his welcome address. Over to you, Mr. Palaniappan.
Thank you, Ankur. Good morning, everyone. I, on my own behalf and on behalf of CAI and CAI's Task Force on Waste to Worth, welcome all the dignitaries and the participants for this international conference and exhibition on waste to worth. This is the 6th edition, and this conference and exhibition is being brought out by CAI in association with the Office of PSA, Government of India, and supported by the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. First and foremost, I would like to welcome the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister of India, Professor Vijay Raghavan, and express my sincere gratitude to him for accepting our request to be the chief guest of this event. I take this opportunity to thank and also congratulate him and his team for launching India's first waste-to-wealth portal. I strongly believe that this portal would definitely help to bring technology providers, government stakeholders, urban local bodies, and all the users together to seek solution on the India's waste issues. It is my pleasure to welcome His Excellency, the Ambassador of Republic of Poland to India. And I thank you, sir, for joining this conference. I also thank him and the embassy for their guidance towards enabling this conference and their participation as guest country for this event. It is my pleasure to invite, to welcome Dr. Anil Kakodkar, who has been a pillar of strength for CAI's Waste to Wealth Task Force. He is the chairman of this grand jury for the CAI 3R Awards. As most of you will be aware, the 3R Awards are instituted by CAI to encourage, recognize, and reward Indian industries, startups, and municipal corporations who are effectively managing the waste. I welcome Dr. Kakodkar. Now, I also welcome Mr. Rishi Saraf, the Executive Director of Excel Industry and who is the co-chair for the CAI Task Force on Waste to Wealth, and Mr. Prashant Singh, who is the CEO of Blue Planet for this conference. As all of us know, our country has been constantly witnessing increase in the amount of waste generation. An estimate by CPCP says India generates today approximately 62 million of waste per year in the urban areas, and it is predicted that it will reach 165 million tons in 2030. Out of this, only 70% of the waste is collected today, and out of that, a meager 20 to 25% is treated. The balance goes to landfills or the dumping sites. In added to this, during COVID, the COVID waste got added to the plastic and municipal solid waste, which are the most formidable environmental challenges in the world, and it created more problems and issues for the waste management sector in the last 1 or 2 years. These wastes are not only destroying the environment and marine life, but also invading our food chain to get into our bodies. These wastes have added to the challenges like climate change, public health, environmental problem like loss of biodiversity, depletion and degradation of forest resources, and water pollution. So it is very important that all of us manage this waste effectively and in a sustainable way. The government has been constantly making relevant rules and amendments to those rules, implementing initiatives and programs which encourages the effective management of this waste. And the government is driving towards circular economy. Even many industries in the country and startups have been coming up with newer, innovative, and cost-effective approaches and solutions to address this growing menace. I'm happy to share that CAI, in its endeavor to promote the importance of waste management, has been working closely with industry, startups, government at the state and central level towards development of waste management sector. We, as part of the task force of CAI, has been working with the government and industry to facilitate better policy and best practices and technologies to manage waste across the country. We have been working towards creating awareness amongst the stakeholders, engaging the Indian industry, and also we have been exploring partnership with international agencies. CAI strongly believes that it is imperative that we put concentrated efforts in the area of waste management to help industry and society to adopt better waste management practices. We are very optimistic that the initiatives taken by us will have significant impact in the areas of waste management, if not immediately, but gradually. With this, I believe this conference and an exhibition on waste to earth would provide opportunity to Indian industry to further collaborate and work together in this area. Finally, I believe that CA, with the continued support of PSA's office, Ministry of Environment, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, will continue to do significant work in the waste sector. With this, once again, I welcome all the dignitaries and the delegates for this conference and wishing you all a fruitful 2 days of conference. Welcome once again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Palaniappan. With this, I would now like to invite Mr. Prashant Singh, CEO, Blue Planet Environment Solutions, to share an industry perspective on waste management. Over to you, Mr. Singh.
Yeah, hi. Very good morning to everyone. Honorable dignitaries of the government, delegates, and my dear industry peers. I'm extremely honored to be given this opportunity to address such an august gathering for a very, very important purpose. The world as we know it has drastically evolved. In a mere span of a decade, the industry has expanded, populations have become more mobile, and urbanization has increased in leaps and bounds. While we all are in favor of the constant progress of humankind, we need to also ensure that this meteoric progress does not harm the sensitive planet that over 8 billion people call home. It is inevitable that industrial processes, urbanization, and expansion shall produce waste. While steady progress is being made towards the creation of zero waste ecosystem, we still need to deal with the issue of waste that exists today. This needs to be done so future generations can truly capitalize on zero waste communities and infrastructure without any burdens of the past. This immense responsibility lies on the shoulders of you and me as an industry. We, waste management solution providers, we cannot simply close our eyes and expect the problem to go away. We all need to address this problem in a head-on manner. The waste management sector has a strong potential to innovate and improve social economical conditions and contribute to sustainable development and resource use. Many of us have capitalized on innovations and technologies to reshape the way waste management is approached in today's age. Increased integration, usage of smart technologies, transparency, and accountability have ensured that the waste management is now done in a more manner so efficient that it would put but a dream a few years back, which has given more importance to ESG aspects for our sector, as it's high time we bring solution ownership to our mindset in the most sustainable manner. However, we need to come together to view waste management with a unifying lens. From collection to segregation to processing, the entire value chain must be treated as a single mechanism where each step cannot work in isolation from the other. As we all are aware, traditional fuels, materials for electronic components, etc., will sooner or later run out. Therefore, we must also come together as an industry to not just dispose of waste, but to upcycle it. Our approach should now be aimed at upcycling and promoting the waste hierarchy and circular economy principles while achieving both socio-economical benefits as well as the reduction of negative environmental impacts. Key to this are the three pillars that we should adopt for waste management strategy, which are promoting waste minimization, efficient and effective waste services, and awareness raising, compliance monitoring, and enforcement. The waste management sector in India has immense potential. Reports suggest that the waste management market in India is expected to be more than $13.6 billion by 2025. The Indian municipal solid waste management market is expected to grow at CAGR of 7+% by 2025, while the e-waste is expected to grow more than 10% during the same period. Therefore, investing in solutions for these sectors will undoubtedly result in long-term profitability and growth. The launch of Swachh Bharat Mission 2.0 by our Honorable Prime Minister with the vision to capitalize on the momentum of the first edition will further catalyze the sector. With a focus on source segregation of solid waste, utilization of principles of 3R, scientific processing of all types of municipal solid waste, and remediation of legacy dump sites for effective solid waste management. Opportunities abound in the coming years for the industry to apply disruptive technologies, both local and global. In essence, upcycling and proper waste management of waste creates avenues for industry to play a role in the Honorable Prime Minister's vision for Atmanirbhar Bharat as well, a country that is self-reliant in industry, innovation, and environmental protection. Furthermore, our Prime Minister commitment at the COP26 to cut emission to net zero by 2070 adds impetus to the waste management industry's role in ensuring that waste sources and upcycled in a manner that promotes the waste reuse materials. I'm extremely confident that today's discussions and deliberations will allow for unmatched inspiration and learning. By sharing ideas, we create better solutions, which in turn will undoubtedly create a better world and a cleaner and greener future for the coming generations. I once again thank you all for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts, and looking forward to engaging with my peers and delegates in the next 2 days. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Mr. Singh, for sharing your perspectives. It's now my privilege to invite His Excellency Professor Adam Burakaski, the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Poland to India, to address the participants.
Good morning, good morning. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I have some unexpected technical problems, so I'm doing this from the mobile phone and not from the computer. But I'm here, and thank you very much for the invitation to the International Conference on Waste to Wharf. We consider this problem as a very important one. I begin by thanking Mr. Naresh Gangwar, Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change at the Government of India. Your Excellency knows that only with the international cooperation we can tackle climate change, and your presence here provides the point. I thank Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, the Principal Scientific Advisor of the Government of India, for his undoubtable contribution towards understanding life sciences that he researched his whole life. It is through such perseverance, ambition, and dedication to science that communities and nations can experience real change. We should not be able to meet here today without the smooth organization of on the part of the Confederation of Indian Industry. And I wanted to express my gratitude to Mr. Palaniappan, Chairman, and Mr. Rishit Shroff, Co-Chairman and Chair of CII Task Force on Waste to Wharf. Please continue the good work. I want to thank Dr. Anil Kakodgar, the Chairman of Grand Jury of the 3R Awards, and the Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, and Mr. Pratap Singh, CEO of Blue Planet Environment, for gracing this session with their presence. Tackling climate change is a global commitment that Poland takes very seriously. This is why we decided to be a partner of Waste to Wharf conference and exhibition with a number of Polish companies ready to share their experience and to discuss solutions with Indian partners. We see India as our ally and collaborator when it comes to waste management expertise to begin with. But we have a lot to offer in the areas of water management, smart city, green technologies, and cybersecurity. I personally believe that a dialogue between such like-minded countries as ours can have a strong footprint on the global climate discussion. This year we meet virtually for obvious reasons, but let's see it as an opportunity to shorten the physical distance between our countries. We are looking towards technology with hope. We see it as an answer to many contemporary challenges, and we are looking forward to cooperating with India in creating, developing, and promoting innovative solutions. Circular economy is our key responsibility if we want to show the world to our children and grandchildren. There are numerous Polish companies that will exhibit their products and services during this edition of Waste to Wharf Fair. We have with us two institutes from National Research Network, Łukasiewicz, Institute of Merchandise Construction and Rock Mining, and Institute of Electrical Engineering, as well as the representatives of the dynamically developing private sector, companies Blick, Gates, Ecolog, Fostech, Prod, Symbiona, and Syntoil. Some of them have already established a brand in India. Others are at the beginning of the path of entering this demanding and at the same time rewarding market. I want to thank them all today and wish them all success in negotiations with their Indian counterparts. Polish presence here. We have three speakers that take this opportunity to compare the Polish and Indian experience. Mr. Jerzy Ślusarczyk, CEO of Prod, Mr. Przemysław Tomala, CEO of Fostech, and Mr. Marek Zaborowski, with far-reaching expertise on creating work from waste. I am happy to note that Mr. Raghu Rajappa, Honorary Consul of Republic of Poland in Bengaluru, will be a key speaker and won't miss the chance to voice his view on the topic. With such great authorities and specialists, I am sure that this will be a fruitful and engaging conference. I will be following it with delight, hoping this is the very beginning of Poland and India partnership on saving the planet. Thank you very much, and I wish you a good conference. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Burakowski, for sharing an insightful message with us. I would now like to request Dr. Anil Kakotkar, Chairman, Grand Jury, CII 3R Awards, and Chairman, Rajiv Gandhi Science and Technology Commission, and former Chairman, Atomic Energy Commission, to kindly address the participants.
Thank you, Payal. Professor Vijay Raghavan, Dr. Palaniappan, and Mr. Ishit Shroff, Chairman and Vice Chairman of CII Task Force on Waste to Wealth, Ambassador Burakowski, Ambassador of Republic of Poland to India, Mr. Prashant Singh, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me express my gratitude to CII for this opportunity to lead the grand jury for this CII 3R Awards, which I think do serve a very important purpose in our approach to make this planet a better place. This earth on which we all reside, we should recognize as Professor James Lovelock has said, that this earth is not an inanimate object, but it's a living system. And so, just as we must worry about the health of all living systems or living beings, we should worry about the health of earth. And I think we should look at waste management in that context. It is not good enough to look at, well, I have got my needs met and I have disposed of the wealth or disposed of the waste in accordance with some statutory provisions. Because these statutory provisions do evolve depending on the challenges that we perceive, and these things change. So I think it requires a holistic view to make sure that we sustain health of earth in perpetuity, and that in turn decides the health of human beings on earth in perpetuity. If you see natural processes, you always see them in a cyclic order. There is nothing like waste in the nature. Many of these values, many of the important resources, the nature converts them from waste, and it's a complete cycle for everything. And you can count many cycles in natural processes. I think it is we, the human beings, we carried out our own inventions, and in the process translated several activities into open cycle processes. In the sense, there is an input, there is an output, and a significant part of that output is waste. And then we talk about dealing with that waste. So I think we are creating a problem where in principle none should exist if we had from the beginning followed the way nature works. Now, this is a great challenge for science. This is a great challenge for the policymakers or people who are responsible for the society. And of course, this is a great challenge for industry as a whole, because I think it's together that we can find or we can hope to find a solution to this problem. Now, in many aspects, many things you discover in the lab and don't go anywhere. And there are other things which get discovered in the lab and immediately get translated. And some of them, we find them as disruptive ideas or technologies or whatever. Now, I think it's important that in matter of waste, the scientific research on one side, the government and the policy on the other side, and of course, industry on the third side, they work together in almost a concurrent manner. It's not that, well, industry says we are complying with government policies and government looks at a problem and then sets up policies. And R&D people sometimes pick up a problem and solve, sometimes take the knowledge forward and some ideas come. I think looking at these in these discrete compartments does not really address the core issue. And of course, when an issue comes, we find solution. That's a different manner. But the triple helix term, which has been used in many contexts, I think it's important that there must be synergistic cooperation of all the three elements to make sure that the problem does not arise in the first place. And whatever problem arises, of course, we have the solution. So we need that ecosystem between policy, regulation, and facilitation through technological, business, and societal solutions. And so the way it is in nature, we don't really talk about cradle to grave approach, but we talk about cradle to cradle approach. That's what I really understand by circularity in true sense. Coming to this particular set of awards, I think we have made a good beginning, but we are evolving. And of course, purpose is to recognize good practices, recognize industries who are performing well. That's of course important. That also sets examples for others to emulate. But even more importantly, I think it is important that out of this experience, we bring feedback to the industry to kind of bring in new ideas. We nudge industry to move in a particular direction, and where on the whole, you actually see economic benefit. And we need to stitch together different entities in a cycle where together they can benefit. Because if individually they see that there is an issue and there is actually not a profitable proposition, things won't move. And that, I think, through such discussions as a part of awards, and of course the conference where things will be, I think it's very important. In these awards, of course, we have several categories. So we have looked at people who are working or addressing the producer responsibility, minimum waste or zero waste products, because that's the first thing. Then extended producer responsibility, So we talk about recycle, we talk about circular economy and so on. We're also talking about municipal solid waste, both as an effort and policy formulation by the urban local bodies, but also by the solution providers and industries who are engaged in managing municipal solid waste. And above all, most importantly, the startups. And I must tell you that looking at these entries for this year's award, we are extremely pleased that startup segment is the one which gave us maximum joy. And I want to specially recognize the contribution made by startups. And of course, as I said, in the context of municipal solid waste, we have to recognize urban local bodies because they are the principal drivers. So there is a particular process that we followed. There is an expert group and of course the members of jury. And I must thank the CII Secretariat. It was not very easy to do this work of due diligence in an environment of pandemic. And I do hope that years to follow, we will be able to improve our SOPs, systems, and also the mode of engagement in a manner where awards become more and more meaningful as days goes by. Finally, I would like to thank my colleagues on the grand jury. And, you know, it's not very easy to reach a consensus decision. And, but I think the members of jury and expert groups, they bring various expert perspectives. And together that does help us in reaching the right conclusion. So I end with congratulating all award winners. And only I like to make a suggestion that while we have to comply with the statutory provisions, but I think in the long run, we all tend to gain if we look at this issue in the context of what I said in the beginning. Treat Earth as a living system. And so treat Earth just as we treat ourselves. And I think we will all benefit, including the profitability. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kakodkar, for sharing your invaluable insights with us. I would now like to take this opportunity to announce the names of CII 3R award winners and recipients of Award of Merit under 7 different categories for this year in the august presence of Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor to Government of India, and other dignitaries. The names of winners would be displayed on the screen. To begin with, the winner under the category of Excellence in Managing Municipal Solid Waste is GeoCycle, and recipients of Award of Merit are Anthony Lara and ITC Kolkata. Under the category of Excellence in Managing Plastics and Packaging Wastes by EPR Strategies, the winners are Godrej and Boys is the winner with PIBO as subcategory. Recycle is the winner with PRO as subcategory. Ramkey Reclamation and Recycling is the winner with Recycler as subcategory. The recipients of Award of Merit are NEPRA and the Shakti Plastics Industries with PROs as subcategories. The first winner under the category of Excellence in Managing Electronic Waste by EPR Strategies is Exigo Recycling, and our second winner is Cerebra Green. The first winner under the category of Excellence in Innovative Solutions by Startups are Ishitiva Robotics and Gen Robotics, and second winners are Recart Innovations and the Kabadiwala. The category is supported by Blue Planet Environmental Solutions. Moving on, The winner under the category of excellence in developing product generating minimum or zero waste is Green Waves Environmental Solutions. The winner under the category of excellence in 3R for industry, managing own waste with manufacturing as subcategory is Tata Steel. The last category is excellence in managing MSW by Municipal Corporation or ULBs. Our first winner is MC Durg. Second winner is MC Rasali. Third winner are MC Rajnandgaon and MC Silvassa. Besides these winners, we have 30 leading Indian industries and startups whose efforts in waste minimization and management have also been appreciated, and the list of winners is displayed on the screen. A big round of applause to all the winners and a big congratulations from all our side to them. We would now release the compendium of winners of CII 3R Awards 2021. The compendium will also be available in library section of the event platform. The attendees who are interested may please download the compendium. With this, I now have the privilege to invite and request our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, to kindly deliver the inaugural address.
Thank you very much, Ms. Payal Sharma, my colleagues here, Dr. Anil Kakodkar, Mr. Palaniappan, Mr. Prashant Singh, Mr. Adam Burakovsky, Ambassador of Poland to India, Sri Naresh Pal Gangwar from the Ministry of Environment, and Mr. Hirshit Swachh. You know, there is very little I can add to the wonderful points made by Dr. Anil Kakodkar. The principal issue is that we have created a massive problem because we have viewed the specific steps we want to take as siloed components rather than part of a composite ecosystem, which is the planet Earth. So I will very briefly touch upon 2 points. One, where we are today, how we came about, and what are the solutions is the third final point. Where we are today is fairly clear, and you know, whether you're looking at the environment, I'm in Delhi now, and it's not clear, you know, whether this is afternoon or not. I can barely see the skies or the sun. I could have been in Chennai, where it's heavy rains which are waterlogging the place, or in the Himalayas, where you know mudslides and landslides are occurring, or anywhere in the world, in Germany, in America, and so on. Now, many of these extreme weather events have been attributed to the consequences of human-induced factors contributing to climate change. And some of them may be, some of them may not. But the fundamental factor which we have to keep in mind is, looking at our history over the last few hundred years, the frequency of such events have started increasing substantially. Just as the frequency of extreme temperatures of various kinds and extreme you know, climatic changes, global warming, melting Arctic ice, and so on and so forth. Now, the fundamental problem here is coming to the second part about how we got here. We got here because of the extraordinary advances made in some specific locations in understanding nature's engineering and creating engineering to quote unquote tame nature. That is, our initial efforts were as understanding the movement of the planets and using the stars to guide the movement of ships and you know predict seasons and so on and so forth. That moved as at the onset of the Industrial Revolution to a period where we started exploiting nature through mining, for example, creating energy and using technology for furthering that and developing tools which are developing products which could be marketed. Now, this seemed innocuous enough, and this seemed something even at the early stages when we saw the consequences on nature, it was very clear that the approach being taken by countries and companies was that the environmental costs could be postponed and paid by future generations. And the benefits of having low cost, high value products now overrode the need to attend to environmental costs now. So this method of postponing environmental payment has resulted in a huge debt to the environment, which we must now clear and also ensure that we no longer start accumulating that debt. In other words, from a perspective of thermodynamics, entropy, i.e. chaos on the environment, will always increase. You can have some locations where you decrease entropy and have order, but that will be at the cost of other locations. If you want to have a world where everywhere there is order and at the same time everywhere there is no exploitation of nature or other humans, this is an extraordinary challenge. Can we deal with that challenge? Now that brings me to the last and final point. What do we do? To deal with this challenge is a simple but almost unattainable route. That simple and almost unattainable route is to say that countries which have developed extraordinary technologies and which have extraordinary resources must open up both their banks and their resources to other countries for a certain period so that a massive tech transfer and financial benefit can be there both for mitigation and for adaptation, both for cleaning up our planet as well as protecting it for the future. Now this, if you calculate the benefits which the rich countries have got over hundreds of years of exploitation of the environment, this is a small price to pay for the future of the planet. Yet I call it almost unattainable because very few people realize this, very few countries realize this, and very few or no country will open up their checkbooks or their technology in a manner which is this is feasible. So this is the boundary condition which we have to work with, and one must steadfastly push so that there is more release and more of technology and of resources. Meanwhile, what does one do in our own environment and in other environments all over the world? The very same approach to technologies which have so devastated our planet are also today providing extraordinary solutions which are staring at us at our face. So renewable energy, and I would put nuclear energy at the center of this, is a very important feature which we must use widely. Solar energy without damaging the environment in terms of mining and in making products which have to be reused in a sensible manner is a big challenge. But that is something which can be addressed. Hydrogen and other kinds of fuels are going to be very important. Similarly, in our handling of waste, as we heard so nicely again from Dr. Kakodkar, there are local mechanisms possible which can address this on scale, and really the awards which have been announced today are examples of that. Now, for something which involves the commons, where there are multiple components contributing to pollution and to waste accumulation, each of them contributing a small percentage, but together causing a lot of damage, is a very big complexity of the commons which we need to address. It is everyone will point to others cumulatively contributing more than they contributing themselves, and this is true. But this is a problem which needs to be addressed. We have again the solutions to address this if local areas are empowered to take control of their lives and their future. And really the fundamental question which we can answer and we should answer is, what is that local area? What is that unit? Is it the city? Is it a part of a city? Is it your housing complex? Where can we exercise control and put in place rules saying you shall not do this and you shall do this? What is the level of that abstraction which we should take forward to give local control over people's lives? This is something again which is feasible through policy, regulation, and technology, and all three need to come together to do this. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Raghavan, for sharing your invaluable perspectives with us. Always a pleasure to hear you, sir. May I now request Mr. Harshit Shroff, Co-Chairman CII Task Force on Waste to Worth, to kindly share his closing remarks and vote of thanks. Can't hear you, Mr. Shroff.
Yeah, Payal, am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So good afternoon to all the dignitaries and participants, and congratulations to all the winners of the CII 3R Awards. It was a pleasure to hear you all at the CII International Conference on Waste to Worth in association with the Office of the PSA, Government of India. It is also an honor to extend the closing remarks and vote of thanks to all of you. A special thanks to Professor K. Vijay Raghavan, the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India, for a very enlightening and encouraging address. The Waste to Wealth mission, headed by you, sir, is committed to leveraging science and technology and innovation to create circular economic models that are financially viable for waste management. The immense support by the Office of the PSA under your leadership in identifying, developing, and deploying technologies to treat waste to generate energy, recycle materials, and extract resources is truly encouraging for the waste management companies, startups, and related Indian industries. Your presence here today, sir, as always, is a testimony to your relentless support to the Swachh Bharat ecosystem. I think in the short but very, very impactful address, you highlighted 4 key points that I have taken away, sir. That there is an urgency of action given the frequency and magnitude of effects of climate change. And there's a need for shift from engineering to tame nature, which is the erstwhile industrial revolution, to a steadfast push towards the role of technology to provide solutions in areas of renewable energy, waste management, etc. And we must refocus our lens where we have been so far doing cost benefit analysis through a lens of immediate profit only. Lastly, sir, your recognition of empowering local areas and making it feasible through policy and technology is extremely important, and I truly appreciate your recognition of that, sir. I sincerely thank the Honorable Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Poland to India, Mr. Adam Borokowski, for joining today's session and sharing his valuable insights. Poland and India have sectoral collaborations in agro and food processing, IT and ICT, textiles, energy, chemicals, and pharmaceuticals. With a long-standing friendly relationship, I hope Indian and Polish companies and institutes can come together in waste management sector as well. I call on waste management companies, industry and startups in India and Poland to take this opportunity to learn and partner for the effective waste management in the subcontinent. Sir, your point about having dialogue between India and Poland can have an impact on the global fight against climate change is very well received. I would also like to thank Dr. Kakodkar for his address and leading the CII 3R Awards. Your constant guidance and help CII to bring the great participants from industry, startups, and municipal corporations together. Sir, I'm very, very moved by your great insights into regarding the Earth as a living system, whose health we need to worry about, and the fact that in nature there's nothing like waste. In fact, resources provided by Earth are a result of natural processes and nature converting waste into resource. Lastly, sir, your point on the need for synergistic cooperation between government, industry, and R&D fraternity, and in ecosystem of policy, regulation, business, and technology to move eventually to the cradle-to-cradle approach. I would also like to thank Mr. Palaniappan for your welcome address and also for leading the CII Task Force on Waste to Worth initiatives. Your constant guidance and support has helped CII Task Force on Waste to Worth to put together this event. A special thanks to Mr. Prashant Singh, the CEO of Blue Planet Environmental Solutions, for sharing his perspectives on waste management, and his company for supporting the startups category of the CIR 3R Awards, which is a need of the hour. I would like to say that the environment in which we live in is very significant, not only for today's generation's health, but also for the health of future generations. I would like to particularly thank the youth who are participating in today's meeting and in the waste management sector in general. It is a global solidarity of youth that will play a crucial role to usher in a new era of hope. To the youth and to the youthful experts, I'd like to share, when one person refuses to give up, when one person believes in the goodness of the world, in the potential of their own life, in the potential of each life, when one person lives a life of value, dedication, and mission, and when one person refuses to succumb to the pressures of daily life or to be overwhelmed by any setbacks, it empowers everyone. All it takes is one person to set off a chain reaction of hope and joy. And this is how we will see a transformation from hopelessness to hope. I think with the participation of the youth and the increasing participation of the startups, I'm very confident that we're moving in exactly this direction. I'm very happy to learn and share that in this two-day event that we have put together with our experts from industries, waste management companies, and startups on the topics of innovative and best waste management approaches, plastic waste and EPR, e-waste management, and integrated and decentralized waste management will be extremely enriching and rewarding. And I'm really looking forward to all these sessions. With this, I once again thank everyone who has joined us virtually, and I look forward to the sessions during the two-day conference. Thank you. Stay safe and healthy, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shroff, for very beautifully summarizing and closing the session. My sincere thank you to all the dignitaries for taking out time and for sharing your valuable insights with us. I would like to thank Blue Planet, Excel Industries, Organic Recycling, Ramkey Group, EcoGreen, and others for supporting the conference. Our special thank you to Blue Planet Environmental Solutions for their support for CII 3R Awards 2021 under the Startups category. With this, we come to an end of the inaugural session for today, and we'll start with our next session for the day at 12:45 p.m. Thank you so much, one and all. Stay safe.